I understand that.
All right.
What are we talking about?
We're talking about motorsport shows and events.
Motorsport shows and events?
Are we talking about motorsport shows and events?
And events. And the hard work that goes into creating this shit.
Yes.
So, anyway,
There is a lot of hard work that goes into it.
there's a ton of work.
Well, not only do we go to them, set up at them, we put one on here also. So
By them, you mean motorsport shows and events.
is that what we're talking about?
That's what we're talking about. That would be it.
All right.
And there is a we do put one on, and I think one of the big things, and it just reminded me of yesterday's show,
Yes.
how weather affects shows.
Weather affects shows. So yesterday here in New England was the Rice-A-Rama show and swap meet that's
Yep.
gotten pretty big and it's been going on for years. And I went briefly, and I think that attendance was a little low this year because of the weather, which also happened at our show this year.
Our show,
Yeah.
At our ride-in show.
All right, yep.
Yeah.
And anybody that puts on a show, there's a shit ton of work that goes in behind the scenes, and
How much exactly is that? Have you ever measured that before?
I've measured it in irritation.
Yeah.
Irritation.
Because a ton is, what, 2,000 pounds?
Yeah.
That's a lot of shit.
That's a lot of shit.
That's a ton.
Yeah.
A metric one.
And when you get disappointed like that, I mean, it's not just a monetary thing that is there. It's like a letdown for everybody that put in a
No,
lot
it's a
of hard
total
work.
letdown.
Everybody
yeah.
says, well, just have a rain date. And while you
Can't
can
do that.
have a rain date, but it'll never be as popular on the rain date as it would have been on the original day.
That's
I
true.
agree. People
That's
get
true.
amped up and they make plans to go on the original date, and
Right.
then if your rain date, is relatively close, like a week later,
Yeah.
you're not going to get the same
No,
crowd.
you won't. Nope. Everybody's
Don't
done with
get
it.
it.
That's why we don't even bother with a rain date.
We don't do it. This year we did a little bit of inside stuff and made it as good as we could for the
Weather
crowd
friendly,
that came.
as
Yeah.
weather
Yep.
friendly as we could for that day.
Yep.
Now the other types of shows are indoor shows,
Which we just
Trade shows.
trade shows.
So
Motorsport shows and events.
exactly, and
Oh, it ties together.
it does, and it's a lot of work for the people to go to those shows.
It is.
That is, yes.
Not to mention, like, we just came back from a Pots Unlimited show, I don't know, a few weeks ago.
Madison, Wisconsin.
MVP.
MVP. And, I mean, there's a ton of work for us to get going out to that show, and I can't even imagine what it's like for Pots Unlimited to.
To put
Put on a show like that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the logistics are just, like, incredible.
Yeah.
I tell you, it's a good thing you guys had a guy go out a little earlier
It
than the rest
is
of
a
you.
good thing.
Otherwise,
We won't tell you about the airport and the airline.
Yeah. So we had a layover, and we had about I think it was like a 25-minute layover.
Yeah.
And on our first flight, we sat on the tarmac for 45 minutes before we left.
Yep.
unbelievable.
They all thought we were going to make the layover.
Because a thunderstorm came through, and it took them 45 minutes to
Go around.
go in the computer and figure a way around it.
So how many hours was your travel time to get there that day?
Total?
15?
What
Probably.
time did we get there?
I don't know.
I think we traveled. I think we mapped it out around 15 and a half.
15 hours.
15,
to go to
15.
Madison.
It was like 2
Wisconsin.
hours less than it took you to drive there.
And I drove out there and it took me 18 hours.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
So,
Yeah, we spent 7.5 hours at Reagan Airport in DC.
nice.
That was awesome.
So
Yep.
there's a lot of
Wasn't
effort
awesome.
that goes into a trade show,
is.
whether or not you're putting it on or attending or vending or whatever you want to call it. There's a boatload of work.
But it's worth it though. When the show goes good, it's fun.
And
Oh, yeah,
speaking
the
of
show was
shows,
great.
speaking of shows going good, and hopefully they'll go good, you're doing one.
The grass drags, the race into winter here in New Hampshire in a couple of weeks. What, Columbus Day weekend?
Yes.
So
think it's that.
we'll be set up in the cow field again with the drag racing watercross snowmobiles
Yes.
behind us. I'll be completely deaf and hoarse by the end of the weekend.
You know, and it sounds like that thing sounds like, oh, it's in a cow field. Like, what's that all about, right? How many people went last year?
There was like 50,000.
50,000
over the course of
people.
the 3 days.
Yeah.
And I think the one day it
50,000.
was like 27,000 one
It's
day.
a huge event.
It's
is.
Massive.
If nobody's from New England watching this stuff and you are any interest in any snowmobile stuff, it's a 3-day event, I think.
Yeah, and it's not even just snowmobiles. It's,
No.
it's a fall festival.
Yeah, it is. It's a fall
It's a
festival.
motorsports show and event.
Yes, power sports.
It's one of
Power
those.
sports. Okay. We're changing the title?
Well, power sports is the correct
Oh,
term.
okay, all right.
I will be going to a show too. I'll be going to the Barber Show.
Nice.
Oh, down at Baba.
Which is more than just a show. That's
That's
a
an
race
event.
weekend, swap
Yep.
meet, the whole 9 yards.
The whole thing.
Someday I'll go to that.
If you've never gone to Barber, man, it's
Don't bother, it's not that great.
says the guy that's never been there.
Brass tracks are way better.
They are. The trash tracks are so much more fun.
That's what we have to
You
see.
know how like when you're camping and in the tent you get a mosquito and you hear it buzzing in your ear? It's like that, only all weekend long.
Much louder.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes, and much louder. Yeah.
So support your local events in your area, or if you're going to some, it's a great time, and just be aware of all the work that goes on behind the scenes to all these events that people put on. I think it's cool.
Power
Must be
sports
exhausted.
Power sports shows and events.
Power sports shows and events.
That is what we're talking about.
Yes.
Exactly. We'll see you next week, I guess.
See you